Loca, and you are listening to Total Nonstop Impact.
The Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander, and you're listening to Total Nonstop Impact.
We are the Rascals. And you are listening to Total
Nonstop
Impact Podcast, baby.
Woo! And what you're really listening to is Total Nonstop Impact. Don't you dare miss a listen. Oh, yeah. Make some noise!
Oh, welcome back, everybody. Total Nonstop Impact, Impact Talk for Impact fans. This is probably a little awkward and strange. Usually Trent opens things up, but it's the Kyle man, old school, hosting the show. Today we have our Impact Plus Weekly.
Impact Plus Weekly.
What
show.
exactly is that, Trent? Explain to the folks, the fine folks at home.
Well, Kyle, I'm not going to lie to the people. We pride ourselves on never lying to the people, contrary to some popular belief. We don't lie to anybody here. I'm trying to decipher this, guys. This is Kyle's brainchild, Kyle's child in a way, and he said
so that's Trent's way of saying if this goes wrong, blame Kyle.
Basically. If the ratings are low, if it's low, we're gonna cut. No, but basically, Kyle had an idea. He's like, "Look, we got Impact. We all have Impact Plus, and we use Impact Plus the most, and for a lot for like the throwback. It's a big tool for Impact fans.
Impact and show.
Yes, it's $8. It's $8, right? It's not much. So where he's like, why don't we do a little recap? We'll talk a little bit about Xplosion because it's an exclusive to Impact Plus." Talk to new Sammy and Friends, maybe
the new
Gut
show,
Check.
Sammy and Friends.
Yeah, Gut Check, any other specials they start putting out. So we'll start talking that. That's what this is. So we figured do a little quick show over here, huh?
And not to mention, during these COVID-19 times, we're bored. We want to do more podcasts. Usually we didn't have time to do one show. Now we're bored at home, so we'll do like 4 or 5 shows.
Guys, we're going to have to figure something. When I get back to band practices and other life, I mean, we're going to have to. I mean, I love it. So we're going to make time to do this. No question about it. But it's going to be some late nights, everybody. I'm trying to tell you.
The only good thing coming from all of this COVID-19 insanity is more time with the crew.
That's very true. We have to say one thing. It's a tribute to the Fink tonight.
The Fink.
As a tribute to the Fink, I'm going to say one thing, guys. If you guys can indulge me. This is Total Nonstop Impact and the new show on the TNI network. The Impact Plus Rewind. Oh,
we lost a great one today in the world of professional wrestling.
Best ring announcer of all time. Hands down. He's literally attached to my life growing up. Best ring announcer of all time.
The voice of your childhood. The both of you.
100%.
Absolutely one of them. I mean, there's a handful that like obviously echo out very quickly when you think of back to the gold that the 80s, the golden years, whatever you want to call them. Mean Gene on the the interviews, Howard Finkel, and then sometimes the banter between Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon. Oh, would you stop? Classic stuff you always remember.
Golden era. But yes, so we would like to pay our respects to Howard Finkel. Condolences, love to his family. But yeah, there's let's give him a quick little moment of silence here. If I had a ring bell, I would do a 10-bell salute, but a little moment of silence. Mute your microphones, fellas.
All right, microphones muted for the Fink here. There we go. 10 count for the microphones for the Fink.
Rest in peace to the great Howard Finkel. We are Total Nonstop Impact Talk for Impact fans. Let's get into it, folks, shall we?
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Kevin Martin's in the house. Excited to hear our thoughts on Xplosion. Kevin Martin, one of the he's an important guy.
We've been talking for so long on the show. Xplosion has always been there.
It really has.
It's like Trent. We always talk about how Taco Bell is always there for you. You take it for granted. but
Yeah.
it's there. It's always
Hey,
there
I love
for
Taco
you.
Bell. You're barking up the wrong tree. Taco Bell was there for me before I had money, during money, and even now. When I got money, I'll still go to Taco Bell. I can afford to pay more, but do I want to pay $9 at Chipotle for just a burrito? Just because what? What am I paying? Just because it's like organic, or can I go for taste and get half the menu for $9? That's what Taco Bell is. And that's what Xplosion is. For $8, I'm getting I'm getting the catalog of Xplosion. It's cheaper than Chipotle.
Fire and Trent up. All it takes is to mention Taco Bell. But yes, we've always felt that Xplosion is underappreciated, undervalued, doesn't get much coverage. So let's cover it. Let's talk about it. This week on Xplosion on Impact Plus, which how much is Impact Plus every month, Trent? Remind me.
$8. Cheaper than a Chipotle burrito.
That's right.
Cheaper than one. You get $8 for a month of the entire catalog of Impact Wrestling. Guys, I have a shelf this way right here, and it's got every TNA and Impact DVD ever released. Thousands of dollars.
And that's unnecessary now. I have the app. I have all that stuff.
You have all of it right in the
$8.99.
palm of your hands. I'm holding Xplosion. I'm holding the app in my hands right here. There's Eddie Edwards and Josh Matthews in my hands right here. And this is the $8 access to thousands of all that. It's right here.
Hakeem Fullerton. We're going to get into that in a little bit. We're just going to run down what's going on this week on Impact Plus. We'll end with that. But this week on Xplosion, the April 11th, 2020 edition of the show, we get Moose versus Fallah Bahh. That's the big match. So every week on Xplosion, you get one fresh match. You get a lot of throwback content, and then you get good interview stuff like Around the Ring with Josh Matthews. So we get Moose versus Fallah Bahh this week. Trent, something interesting about Fallah Bahh this week. Did you take notice?
They weren't J's, but they were definitely shoes.
Took a stop by Payless or Journeys, wherever you go for your footwear.
Is Journeys a shoe store? I've seen Journeys. I never knew what it was.
In the shopping malls here on Long Island, we have Journeys.
I've seen a Journeys. Jaybone, more than I was. Jaybone was very excited about the shoes. He couldn't believe Fallah's wearing boots.
So you take it from here, Jaybone.
Yeah, but Jaybone's very excited. Jaybone's a big Fallah guy. I know that. And listen, I love Fallah. And I love Fallah too, but Jaybone's a big Fallah. Jaybone walks around the house hitting his head when he wants something. And his wife's like,
Jaybone has hit his head too many times. Fallah Bahh wearing a pair of boots, but didn't make the difference. Moose comes out on top. Better luck next time.
Hey, at least we know that in the future, when all these other heels he's been in the ring with, or no matter who he's in the ring with, if they step on his feet, it's not going to hinder him quite as much. It still hurts, but at least it's not on bare feet now. He's got a one-up on that.
Especially, I mean, you're wrestling a guy like Eddie Edwards or Sammy Callahan. He's pulling out a bag of thumbtacks or something. You got to have some shoes on. You got to have protective footwear.
Yeah, you can't be running around half naked all day, all night like Fallah Bahh. Put some clothes on, man.
Got some clothes. No,
a more civilized Fallah Bahh.
I always wondered about shoeless wrestlers. I'm always like, man, how often do they break their toes, hurt their feet? Things. I mean, there's been a lot, right? Fallah was shoeless for a while. I mean, Kevin Von Erich that comes to mind. I'm like, man, don't you get hurt? You can't absorb all those jumps. I always wondered about that. They break ankles easier. Do they break toes? What goes on with that? But he's gone to boots. But it's part of the new look, though. He's got new tights.
I'd like to ask Fallah himself, do you prefer to wrestle barefoot?
That's a great question.
Or with the boots on?
If I ever see him again at a show, I'm going to ask him that. I'm going to get the soundbite for the show. And then I'm going to get him to do a drop for us.
Alicia in the chat says he got a toenail ripped off recently.
God.
Oh,
God.
Been there one time. The back door fell right on my foot. Oof. All clean.
That's right. Okay, that explains the boots. Fun match though.
It only takes one toenail, right, guys?
Fun match though.
Fun match. We love Fallah Bahh. We love Moose. Another reason you should check out Xplosion. But moving on with Xplosion, we get Josh Matthews backstage with Eddie Edwards doing Around the Ring. But Trent, Jaybone, you remember that MTV show Silent Library?
No. I never watched Silent Library.
All right, Grandpa and Grandpa. There was a show
if you asked me about MTV News with Kurt Loder, Dick.
No,
what about that big shot, huh?
I'm of the millennial generation.
If you asked me about Headbangers Ball, I could tell you
All
who
day.
was on.
Oh yeah,
And-
that was that show that came out in 2003 with Jamie Josta and those guys. Yeah,
No,
it
this
was
is-
new. It just came out right
that
That was
then.
a
No,
reboot. That
No,
was a
no, it
reboot.
wasn't. No, it wasn't.
The reboot doesn't even
No.
count. I'm talking about Ricky freaking Rackman of the
Nah.
Cat House in Hollywood.
Well,
Oh
you're-
my God!
Set
look
him
what
down
the
this
cat
path
dragged
now.
in.
Uranium with Julia will always be cooler than Ricky Ratman. And
I did like Julia.
for the
Julia was cool.
for the record. For the record, but
Who?
no.
What?
So Silent Library was a show on MTV,
Yeah.
and the guys had to whisper and go through these challenges while whispering. It was a silent library. Couldn't make any noise.
Never
So-
heard of it.
Very similar to Silent Library. Josh Matthews and Eddie Edwards are backstage conducting the around the ring interview,
Mhm.
but they have to be quiet because there's promos, interviews, stuff being shot all over the place. So they had to conduct this interview, and oh god, that was creepy. Jaybone just pulled out a lollipop. Very
God.
creepy. So they had to conduct this around the ring interview, a little rapid fire questionnaire, but they had to whisper. Very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. And it was like rapid fire back and forth. The one question I remember is when he's like,
Sexy.
No,
Sexier.
he's like, your thoughts on Moose. He's like, dummy.
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 Yeah. There, that-
Dummy. Yeah, I do miss that guy, huh? Eli? You miss
Then
Dummy guy.
we get a flashback to Lockdown 2013. We get Hernandez and Chavo Guerrero versus Trent. Who are they going up against?
Oh man, you gotta help me out here, Kyle. This is I'm trying to remember. Look, today
Come on,
I'm not
I'm
leading.
testing you. I'm testing you, Trent. I'm testing you.
This is your lead tonight, Kyle.
They
This
go
is
up
your-
against Bad Influence. The boys.
Oh man, I didn't
Zarian
have
and
know.
Daniels. You know you miss them.
I miss them all the time. But the thing is, the flashbacks. I'll be honest with you. I sometimes will skip a flashback if it's a match I've seen a bunch, or if I want to get on to the rest of Xplosion. So I'll skip the match. The flashback is if it's one of those things where I've seen the match. That one, I'm trying to remember what show that was from. I feel like I was at that show too. That's
Lockdown 2013. You have the Dirty Heels, Rude and Austin Aries versus Chavo and Hernandez going up against Bad Influence for the TNA World Tag Team Championships.
I love Bad Influence. I love Bad Influence. What do they call now? They're SCU now, right?
SCU.
Yeah, that's what they are now. Okay, I love them. That's Bad Influence. I got a Bad Influence T-shirt. Got the logo T-shirt.
I raised my invisible Apple teeny to Bad
Yes.
Influence.
Oh man,
Nice.
my favorite promo during this time of Chris Daniels was that he came out and he introduced Kazarian or something, and he says, "And I'm the man with the rear that makes the girls cheer." I, to this day, never forgot that promo.
I liked when they came out in the Dumb and Dumber tuxedos.
Oh my god,
Classic.
And then in Chicago, 2013 Impact on the road, first one on the road. They came out as the Road Warriors.
Oh, nice.
Legion of Doom in Chicago, which was huge pop. Huge pop. Very cool. Very nice.
But yeah, memories of this match, Trent?
It was good. I mean, look,
Being the Impact mark that you are.
I was not a big fan of Chavo during this time. I know he was working hard. He was not connecting with me because I'd seen him in so many other styles at the time. And
Critical
I'm like,
of this Chavo run, Trent.
I am. It didn't connect with me. I gotta be honest, it didn't. And plus I was a huge Bad Influence mark. I got the comic book. Frankie gave me a copy of the comic book. Frankie and I traded T-shirts. He has a HEMI T-shirt. He gave me a Bad Influence T-shirt.
Now, Trent, I know that, not a drinker. You're a straight edge guy.
Straight edge.
If Christopher Daniels approached you around 2013, the height of their Bad Influence run here in Impact Wrestling, and he said, Trent, I want you to have an apple teeny with me. Would you do it? Would you drink it, Trent?
I would not drink it. I'm sorry. Here's the thing. I would big time Chris Daniels because I say, look, I saw you on the Indies in Chicago back in the day. I said, you can't big time me. I'm gonna big time you.
You wouldn't have an apple teeny with the man himself.
Can't do it. I have a 38-year unblemished record of no teenies of any kind.
I'll get you.
Nothing.
I'll spike you.
Yeah, that's the only way it's gonna happen. If I get spiked. But anyway, yeah. That was but I wasn't connected with Chavo at the time. I really was like, She was going too gangster, and I was like, "You're not. This isn't you, Chavo.
A little too
Chavito.
LAX. A little too LAX.
It didn't work for him. I was like, this isn't Chavito.
But the Dirty Heels pick up the win and become the new TNA World Tag Team Championships at the time.
Dirty Heels a bad influence. What are we talking about here?
Dirty Heels.
Dirty Heels. Okay.
Yes. And then we get a flashback to Impact a couple weeks ago. We get the North versus Eddie and Tessa. Elgin interference. Little flashback footage. That's the thing with Xplosion. You get a new match, bunch of throwback matches, and you might even take a look at last week or 2 weeks ago on Impact. It's a nice variety.
No, it's a great. But the best things about Impact is the variety. That's what the diversity of the product is the best part about it to me. I think there's something for everybody, right, Jaybone? Something for everyone in this company.
Yeah, and that's why I've consistently said it's the most consistent thing in the last few years. You get your hardcore, you get your solid women's matches.
It's like when the missus comes home, Jaybone, and she brings you the big variety pack of lollipops, and you get all the flavors. Something for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dumb variety pack.
She's a keeper.
Yeah. What else you got, Kyle?
That's the show closes with that. We get our nice little flashback to ends with Elgin standing in the ring over Tessa holding that belt. I think Elgin is getting comfortable with that belt for a reason. Wouldn't you agree, Trent?
Look, the guy who has had the most consistent run, he was in the most consistent run since entering the company, is Michael Elgin, no question. For the last year, no one's been more solid. And I think, look, I like it, but I gotta say so. I gotta just the little critique on Xplosion. I feel like I need one more segment in this show. Yes, Kevin's asking, would you add or change anything?
Well, I would like to see more of the little skits and stuff. Maybe things that all right, so let's say they're making an episode of Impact. There's got to be some footage, maybe stuff they didn't use, stuff on the cutting room floor, maybe an example. Let's say this was a couple of years back, all the Broken Hardy stuff. All that extra footage is gold. Like things like that. I'd like to see maybe some behind the scenes footage, more vignettes, more interviews. I love the around the ring stuff. People like Josh Matthews, little shows like that. I think that's you can get a fresh match in there and still present and raise the profile of all the wrestlers.
I got a great idea for it. Kevin, I got a perfect idea for it. How about every week's supplemental Xplosion? Like let's say we had Impact Wrestling this week. Here's your Xplosion for the week. How about Xplosion feature all the people that were not on the main show that week? Like, for example, Elgin wasn't on this week's Impact, right? He did not make. I didn't see how there wasn't much Elgin on. I can't remember Elgin being on this week's Impact. I'm trying to remember, but let's use Elgin for example. If he's not on Impact main show this week, let's have a piece of something with Elgin on Xplosion that week. So we're still getting the character fix. We're still getting a storyline further. We're still getting some visual of everybody then. And it's just, it could be like 1 minute vignette, 30-second hello, something. Just something where whoever was not on the main show gets a little piece on Xplosion. And like I said, it could be a vignette, could be some B footage, some B-reel,
Exactly, because we're always saying the 2 hours of Impact that we get every week, it's hard for them to showcase all of the talent. There's so many wrestlers on the roster. So, just Xplosion, sprinkling more and more. Just stuff that I haven't seen already, More fresh content, whatever that might be.
Absolutely. I think, like I said, just fill it in with people who could not be worked onto the main show for the week. Perfect idea. Not to toot my own horn, but
I'd say, so speaking of like behind the scenes or, something, that the cutting room floor stuff, how about a gag reel?
Gag reels are great too,
Bloopers hasn't been done.
Like they're supposed to, do the interview and it takes them like a bunch of takes because somebody's doing something and it screws them up a bunch of times, stuff like that. I grew up on you get the blooper reel at the end of a funny movie, know. Maybe for the older fans would appreciate
and even
that.
I know that since the show is edited, they do post-production. let's say a guy slips a botch, as they like to call them on the internet. That usually gets scrubbed away from the show. But if you have a blooper reel at the end, little clips like that, stuff that you can laugh at, you know? It's being resourceful with everything.
Something. It'd be nice to add a little something. Like another example, the Impact put out the video of all the crew doing the stay-at-home message. You guys see that? Like the COVID-19 stay-at-home, right? Be safe, stay at home. Play that on here. So people might not have seen it. Put it on here. Let me see more faces. You know, let me just keep seeing faces. I want to see more
knockouts on Xplosion. Because I mean, Trent, we've always talked about when you go on Impact's YouTube channel, look at their most hit videos. Look at
it's the women.
It's always the women.
And Mahabali Shira. Shira's got a shit ton of plays from India. I mean,
star in India,
huge market out there. But I remember like his comeback video had like 1 million plays in like a week or some insanity. But no, like things like just give me faces. Because like or if it's gonna be an Impact Plus flashback, make it a shorter match. Like this one took a while. Like that's valuable time to me. I'd rather see.
I don't want them to fill the air with, let's call it what it is, pretty much filler, just throwback matches to. And I get it. You're advertising the history of the company.
Absolutely.
Some new eyes, they might not know the history of the company. They might have never seen it before. It sends people to Impact Plus. I understand that, but just make the clip shorter. I'd rather see shorter clips. You know, highlights of the match, real brief. Doesn't have to be the whole match replayed. Just more fresh stuff. Yeah. Promos, vignettes, all that.
Play a clip of Sammy and Friends. Play a clip of Ethan Page's vlog. Play, something where it's like, this is the kind of stuff you'll get over here. Play Alpha One clips. They signed Alpha One to be a part of Impact Plus. We'll play some stuff of Ethan Page and Josh maybe at Alpha One. This is the kind of stuff you'll get on Impact Plus. I understand it's good to show the show
this week on Twitter. You know, all the wrestlers are tweeting. I mean, social media is so big, might as well integrate it.
Absolutely, do a little scrub of this week on Twitter. What do the stars get into this week? Where did they go in Atlanta? Maybe a 2-minute vlog. Where did they go eat in Atlanta? You know, what do they do? Something else other than a long match. I think the long matches, or like Hakeem saying here, give it 2 matches around the ring segment. Never before seen content. Hype up the next show. Boom.
Yeah. So
pack it in.
Bottom line, we do like Xplosion. We do think it needs to be covered more, so we're going to bring it here to the channel once a week and break it down here on the Impact Plus Weekly. This show will kind of be more of a shoot the shit type show, you know, Trent?
Yeah, for sure.
This might really become the scumbag show.
I mean, you were going to do the scumbag show. You did a pilot episode. Got moderate plays. Got a nice little flash.
I couldn't pinpoint what I wanted to do with it, and I still can't. It's like, what am I going to do?
You said I'll talk about things you like. It's the Kyle. It's like on Russo's network. He has the show called Bucket Full of Chicken Necks. It's everything but wrestling. Talk about your favorite food. You know, TV shows you're watching, bro. You know, all that stuff. Hey, random shit. Yeah. People want to get to know Kyle. Or, you know.
But yeah, then we get also this week
knockouts for an hour.
Second episode of Sammy and Friends.
No, let's talk about that.
If you don't know what Sammy and Friends is, only up to the second episode, so it's brand new here on Impact Plus. It's a 15-minute weekly program. You just get to see Sammy, all of his buddies on the road, making the towns, messing around backstage, all that good stuff. And this week in the description, we have advertised Sammy and Friends, episode 2, harassing car rental staff, slapping fresh tattoos, roster basketball, and more. See the world through the eyes of Sami Callihan in the latest installment of Sammy and Friends.
You
want to see the roster playing basketball, getting tattoos, renting cars, hanging out? Why not?
I mean, Elgin can go, man. Elgin whooped Jake Kirst's ass in basketball. Do you see that? Took him out.
There was one highlight from this entire episode of Sammy and Friends, Trent, and it's going to bring us into our next segment when we talk about the news and all the speculation about the WWE releases. I hate bringing up WWE here on the show. I attack Jaybone when he does. They just fired like 50 people. They're the biggest professional wrestling company in the world. So Impact is going to get a lot of new people coming in.
You sound pretty confident about that, Kyle.
I call it how I see it, Trent.
Oh wow, Jay, your thoughts?
I spent an hour on this yesterday with my buddy.
Oh, I'm not. Don't go into that yet because I have to tell you what happened in Sammy and Friends, where I'm going to connect these two stories.
That's fine.
Okay. That's
fine. Go ahead.
So,
Go ahead.
Yeah, somewhere in this episode of Sammy and Friends, we see the great Ethan Page backstage. I think he had Josh Alexander with him, but anyway, he's wearing his North tracksuit. And on the tracksuit, he's got the Canadian flag. And he's joking around, and he says, "Oh, this is my way of convincing Scott D'Amore to bring back Team Canada." Whoa. It might have just been a joke in passing, but when you're dealing with classic TNA, Impact Wrestling marks like us, you're getting us excited.
Oh, yeah.
Don't fool around like that. And then that got me thinking, Eric Young got released by WWE 2 days ago.
Eric Young.
The LAX reboot was so well received. Honestly, I think the LAX reboot was better than the original LAX. They might be able to pull that off again with Team Canada.
Think about who you could do. You could do Eric Young.
You got Eric Young if we get him back. You got the North. You already have Petey Williams. He's an OG.
You got Elgin's in there too.
I'd like to see that side of Scott D'Amore again. We haven't seen that Scott D'Amore in 13, 14 years.
I just want to see Scott D'Amore do that barking thing one more time.
One more time. Trent, don't you have one of the red TNA shirts, Trent? Don't you have one of those?
I have the hat. Should I go get the hat?
Okay. But don't you want to bust that out again?
I do. I have a Team Canada TNA hat. I don't have the shirt. I never got the shirt. I got the hat though. But I do have a TNA mouse pad that I use.
Here on the screen, Paul Nelson says, "How would you guys feel of Impact going 3 hours? Should they try 3 hours?"
No.
I like Impact as a 2-hour show, but we're always complaining we want another show.
Well, we got third hour, Xplosion's third hour. You give it a little bit more beef, and we got your third hour right there. You know?
Yeah, I mean, if they could pull it off, I'd like to see it. But from what I've heard, it's tougher to produce that third hour. So
it sounds easy enough, but it's
apparently
not
it's a challenge. So
it is. It's not easy to pull off.
Up to the pros.
I mean, personally. Old farts like me fall asleep during the third hour of another unnamed show on Mondays that I won't name.
See, that's the problem. But I mean, me personally, if you had me vote, would you like to see another hour of Impact? Can't lie to you. Not going to say no.
I would love it as a fan. Don't get me wrong. I would love the more content.
But I don't want the company to feel stressed.
Also, like I said, you're getting Xplosion. That's your third hour. You beef up Xplosion with a little more content, and you sell it, like really push Xplosion on the main show.
It's up to the company to beef up Xplosion more, and it's up to us to do our part, the voice of the fans, to promote it more. Because I feel like there's so many Impact fans that don't even know Xplosion exists, being honest.
Exactly. They don't talk about it enough. I want more mention of Xplosion. Like, guys, don't forget, go to Impact Plus and check out Xplosion after the show ends or something. You know,
how come nothing has ever happened on Xplosion in any time? I was going to say recently, but anytime there was no conflict that happened on Xplosion that led over to Impact. You know, last week on Xplosion, this and this happened. You know what I mean?
I would like that. I would absolutely like that. I think that's a great idea.
Something
something
that ties it to the main show. You give them good content to watch, but you got to also give them a reason to watch.
Yeah.
That's the hook.
Some sort of contendership or something that makes me watch Xplosion. That's going to tie into the next week's episode of Impact. But back to the Team Canada topic, I'd like to go to the listeners in the chat right now and you guys. Who would you like to see in Team Canada? If they were to bring Team Canada back, what is your dream team for Team Canada 2020?
Oh, I didn't think about that. That's a nice
Elgin
one.
And Taya. I didn't even think of Taya. If you're going to put a woman in there, it has to be Taya.
She is Canadian.
We forget that she is because she's
the Latino is so strong. You know.
I know.
You forget she's Canadian.
It's true. Like we kind of skip over.
La Huera Loca.
Wait, is she Canadian or did she just train with Lance Storm up in Canada?
No, she's Canadian.
She's
Canadian.
Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't misunderstand that. That's okay.
It's La Huera Loca. It's not I'm crazy. You know, you forget that. You forget that.
Yeah, she moved down to Mexico. She learned fluent Spanish. I mean, she's a very talented lady, man. Very, very talented lady.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
I am trying to get. I'm looking up something here, guys. This is
Keep
something
them coming on the screen, Jaybone. I want to hear from the listeners.
I'm trying to get something for you guys. I want to show you guys something, or actually, I'm trying to pull up a date while you guys are keep talking. I'm going to pull up something in a second. Actually, let me do a little search here, and I'm going to tell you guys something. All right, now this is a match I've been looking for Xplosion. If anyone can find this for me, please find this for me. TNA Xplosion, June 26th, 2004. It's Petey Williams, Bobby Roode, and Eric Young taking on two of my really good buddies and another guy who's like an acquaintance at AEW. Nate Webb, Spider Nate Webb, Danny Daniels, and Ryan Bahh. Danny Daniels is one of my best friends, and I have not seen his TNA match. And it's Xplosion's back catalog is not on Plus.
Somebody has to dig through those vaults.
June 26th.
It goes back to what, 2017 ish
on the network, but Xplosion's been on since like 04.
04. I mean, Xplosion's been on since 2004.
Are you serious?
It was internationally syndicated for a long time. Xplosion this is a long running show, and it's not gotten the play that it needs to. It's not gotten.
I think it does overseas, outside of America.
Overseas.
Yeah.
And Kevin could look at Kevin. I want to put Kevin Martin's his comment up. Now we're gonna put this out here.
I don't know if that's true. I keep hearing this rumor online. There's a story apparently that Spud stiffed Anthem for $20K over his visa. I don't know if that's
I heard
true.
about that.
That
we don't want to
rumor's
get
been
into
floating
that.
around. I don't want to speculate on something that's just a rumor.
Give me Kevin Martin's comment there, Jay.
But if that is true,
above this one,
Spud can fuck himself.
Y'all just want to kill post-production, don't you? Just kidding. Like Kevin,
okay, work, man.
You're putting it out there, Kevin. Kevin is a producer at Impact.
Keep the cooks in the kitchen.
We gotta keep you working, Kevin. We gotta keep you working, guys. And listen, they do a great job. Post-production.
Someone's got to work around here. COVID-19. Not many people are working.
Kevin, I want to ask you a question. You don't have to answer if you want to keep it inside the circle. Did you work on? Were you a part of the team that brought us the ICU segment at the end of Impact last week? Because that is something I'm still very impressed by. I loved how it played out. Loved it. So if you're a part of that, the car scene, I'd love to know. And I'll have to give you a virtual tip of my hat to that one. That was beautiful. But no, Xplosion's it's been a long time. It's had an international market, but I want to see. But let's, like you said, you brought up a good thing, Kyle. Let's play a storyline on Xplosion that bleeds into the main show.
Yeah.
Or gets talked about.
Make it relevant.
Put clips of Xplosion on Twitter. Let's really beef this thing up. It's like this is what a long ass running show. Why not? Why not give it some more identity for sure?
Even an interview clip. Last week on Xplosion, so and so sat down with Josh Matthews. Let's see what happened in that. Little things like that.
They did it 2 weeks ago when they showed Dez. You remember that, Jay? We talked about it when they showed Dez's around the ring about 2-3 weeks ago. But it was because it was like you could tell like they had to adjust they were adjusting for some of the changes in the programming.
Yeah,
and things right? You
the context got all fucked up.
Yeah, because of everything getting shut down. So, but that was cool. Like I liked it. I'm like, cool. It was like a minute, and I was like, great. This is cool. I love it. This makes me want to go see the Xplosion. I want to go see Dez's segment on Xplosion. So things like that.
And
bring me in.
Also this week on Impact Plus, they uploaded Hard to Kill 2020.
Yes.
From the Bomb Factory. I think somebody was there. Hey, wasn't that you, Trent?
That was me. Lino was there too. Lino, I think it was in the chat just now too. That's where I met Lino, our newest member of the TNI network here. But I was down there, man. That was an exciting night. That was a very, very fun night.
HEMI versus Tessa. Historic night.
I took an amazing picture that night. I was right up front. I took a great picture that night. No, I met some awesome people. Nurse Nicole went with Brian Cage to the hospital that night when he busted his mouth up.
That was a rough night for the wrestlers. A lot of people got banged up that night.
Yeah. It was everyone went hard, man. Because Rich was out. Rich broke his leg the 2 nights before.
That was the night before.
Yeah.
So there's something cool on Impact Plus that I don't think I ever really noticed. They have a section, Hidden Gems.
Hidden Gems is great.
They've just plucked random obscure matches that you might have forgotten, you
Yeah.
might have never seen.
Which one are you looking at? What's got your
I'm
eye?
looking through. You got a lot of they're very strategic about it because it's a lot of stars from other companies. You know, it's just like, oh, you've never seen this guy in Impact before. I'm seeing the Briscoes versus the Hot Shots, Mark Haskins versus Brian Kendrick, which was on Xplosion, ACH versus Ishimori.
I was at that show.
Johnny Curtis versus Alex Shelley, John Moxley versus Lamar Braxton Porter. Who's Lamar Braxton Porter?
I have no idea.
I have no clue.
But all these guys, dude, one thing people forget to realize, man, everybody's come through TNA, man, in Impact.
Yeah.
Everybody. Like, you're talk about a company that recognized a lot of talent early when nobody did, when nobody gave a shit sometimes.
Jay Lethal versus Jim the Anvil Neidhart. That's a throwback.
Holy shit, I forgot about that one. Wow.
Okada and Homicide versus Generation Me.
Wow.
Who the hell is Generation Me?
No idea. A couple of young guys.
Probably some young bucks from the West Coast or something.
Flair versus Hardy versus Styles. What?
Wow. That happened. Yeah.
Gail Kim versus Veda Scott. I might have some alone time with that one later.
Jesus Christ.
Do another review.
Wow.
But yeah, so that's it this week for Impact Plus.
I want to. Well, listen, I'm still going to give you a nod because you do phenomenal work. Clearly, because that was a fantastic segment. As is all the editing for the show. I love.
Oh, Jaybone, pull up Kevin's next comment.
There we go.
We've hit gold. We have struck gold.
Oh my God!
There is a full VHS library. So, Kevin, you give us your PayPal. We'll make things happen.
Kevin, I just need one from you, man. June 24th, June 26th, 2004. I ain't the Danny Daniels match. One of my best friends. He runs.
Has Danny seen it?
Well, he was in it.
No, I mean, has he seen it since it happened? No,
I don't think he's. I'm sure
he have the footage.
I'm sure he's got it on his Danny's got a vault of memorabilia. He's got everything, so I'm sure he has it on VHS. I want to get it digitized because it's Danny, Ryan Bahh, who's one of the head guys at AEW also, and Nate Webb, Spider Nate Webb, who still works for us.
Just a teenage dirtbag baby. I remember.
It's crazy to think. Like, I recently been celebrating Danny's career more. I put out his ECW clips when the New Jack Dark Side of the Ring came out, and I put his ECW clip. I want to put his Impact stuff out too. I want to get that out there. So, Kevin, depending on how much you like us or how much you like me personally,
how much you like
do me that favor.
Trent's money.
I'll pay for it. If I need to pay for it, I will. I sure will, because it's
Trent. Who are you kidding? If they made you an offer, you would live in a box for 2 years to get your hands on that. I know you.
Absolutely. If I'm to work at Impact,
is that dirty Mark?
Totally. Day one guy, man. I'm a day one guy. Are you kidding me?
But yeah, so that's about it though for Impact Plus this week. Let's go back to that topic we were talking about before. I hate to bring up WWE, but this is the landscape of professional wrestling. A lot of guys very well could be coming into Impact, so we got to talk about it. Jaybone, I know you love this kind of stuff, so I'm going to let you take it from here.
All right,
Jay. You're getting excited.
This is your Super Bowl.
Jaybone has a Woody.
Jay Bronsky, this is your Super Bowl here.
This is Bronsky Hepperino. We're going to talk about all of the free agents coming into independent wrestling around the world.
Let's hear it.
Now, give us the list. Can you pull up the list, Jaybone? The rumored list?
Oh, shit. No, there's a real list.
I have a list I can pull up quickly if you want me to. I can do that.
No, not the Robbie list, Trent. Not that one.
I got
You're on the list, bro.
I got the wrestlers list off of WWE.com. It's what most people have seen. There's been a couple other quiet additions. We'll get into that after I go through this. All right, so we're referring to this as Black Wednesday because it's the darkest day in professional wrestling history in general, I'd say. We haven't seen this in almost 10 years. The last time they did this, it was about a dozen or so that was let go at once. Those names included Drew McIntyre, among many others. Ezekiel Jackson, I believe, was in there too.
All right, enough with the history lesson, pal. Give us the list.
All right. So WWE has come to terms on the release of Kurt Angle, Rusev.
Hold on. Kurt Angle. huge name for Impact Wrestling. I don't see him wrestling again, but if they were to bring him back in for some sort of management on-screen role, anything, you guys, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah.
I wouldn't gawk at it. I love Kurt.
Well, let me go through
But
the
it's a
list.
very
and then-
expensive contract,
Yeah.
Trent. Is it necessary?
No. Well, yeah. Let Jay finish the list, and we'll talk.
Let me
about
go
it.
through the list, and then we can kind of pick apart it a little bit. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Rusev,
Mhm.
Drake Maverick,
Spud.
aka Spud. Yes. Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, Carl Anderson,
Mm-hmm.
Luke Gallows. Sorry, I lost my
Good for
balance
you.
there.
Couldn't resist. Couldn't resist.
I
You could have pointed to an Ace and H t-shirt. You know, I could have busted that out instead.
You think he's special because you got autographs? Look behind me, Jaybone.
I
I got better autographs than that.
I got the hell the
You're rattling.
IWGCP whatever.
You don't even know how to say it.
Get on with the list. Get on with
Okay.
the list. Get on with the list.
Heath Slater, Eric Young, Rowan or Eric Rowan, Sarah Logan, No Way Jose.
I don't know who half of these people
I
are.
don't either. I honestly
No,
don't watch the
it's-
product. I have no idea.
It's okay. Mike Chioda.
Uh-huh.
That's a
Long
ref,
time referee.
Long
31
time ref,
years.
yeah.
31
Chioda.
years.
30 plus years. Yes.
Referee Nate, my buddy, took that one really hard. He
Mike-
was affected by that one. Go ahead.
Mike Bennett. I'm going to use his indie name.
Miracle.
The miracle.
Yeah, yes, and his wife.
Oh, wife was too? Wow.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Just
She's
about.
kind of high profile, known, huh?
Yeah.
She's
Maria?
just about to give birth too. She's a couple weeks away from that.
Another one. Wow.
Here's the one that everyone's been talking about: EC3.
Trouble.
Aiden English,
Yeah, put that on. Okay, put that on. There it is.
Leo Rush.
So, when I look at the list, I'm not sure if there's anybody that comes to mind that I'd like to come back to Impact, but, there's a couple of them,
The one guy. Well, finish the list. You're almost done, I think.
He's waving the flag. Yeah, we got about 20 to go.
Jesus, really?
No.
Blaze through them.
Look at this shocker, Trent.
That's
This
it.
Primo and Epico. And then there was there were also agents backstage that were furloughed. And so there's a good possibility they're gonna bring them back.
They'll be back to work.
Names like, once they hit the road again, eventually.
You need him back, yeah.
Yeah.
Guys,
there's-
And let me make it clear, we would never root for anybody to lose their job. It's horrible.
absolutely not.
But
Absolutely
we're
not.
this is in the context of who might come back to Impact.
That's what we're doing. And Millard Harris is upset about this, but hey, that's what we're doing this. We're leading up to the EC3 talk here in a second. That's what I'm getting to with this.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of there's a million different ways this whole thing could go. Okay.
Deanna Perrazzo is a free agent. Me and BQ interviewed her on the old Impact Lounge, and BQ
you really?
called her Donna in the interview.
Oh,
It's
God.
classic.
Jeez.
It's a
Yikes.
classic.
That's rough.
Classic.
And at the same time, another NXT/NXT UK name that I'm actually excited about to see what his future will be. A quiet one that was not announced.
Mhm.
Oh no, Cassius Ono,
Oh, is he gone?
aka Chris
Hero.
Wow, he got let go too, huh?
That is somebody that I've always wanted to see have a nice long run in Impact.
Yeah, he did an explosion match. Kevin could probably look at that. He did an explosion match a while
He's
ago.
one of the greats, though. I feel like he's never had a run there.
No, he never did. I'm shocked he didn't, to be honest. I think he would have fit so much better in an Impact Wrestling environment. I'm talking Chris Hero when he's he's not high-fiving, he's elbowing everybody, and like with the song, who's your hero? It's Chris Hero.
Best.
Oh yeah, that's a
It'd be
classic.
refreshing to hear
So-
that song again.
All right, let's get. Is that all of them?
So
There's a few coaches that were
now, J-Bone, is JB
Ace-
on that list? I think about JB when I hear this
I
stuff.
think JB's
I
safe.
worry about him.
He's okay.
I still love JB.
J-
I do.
Ace Steel got let go.
Ace Steel. We've been talking a lot about Ace Steel on the Throwback
Yes,
show.
that's why I
TNA
brought him up.
Throwbacks.
Yeah, and there's a
Chicago's
handful
own.
of other trainers that were let go, and I can't think of the names. I know a couple people have brought up names in the
The Hurricane,
Chat.
actually, Shane Helms, Gregory Helms. He was
yeah,
on that list.
he's
Former
an
X Division
agent.
champion.
He's an agent. He's probably gonna. I mean, we hope he gets his job back. Kidman, he's another guy. Fit Finley. These guys have been with the company for 30 years. You know.
All right. Back down to the beef of it. EC3, we got to get him back on.
The point of
That's it.
that whole list, though, is who would we like to see come back into Impact? So I would like to go to the chat now, hear from everybody. Hey, Millard Harris trying to stir it up. That wasn't a BQ burn. It was just telling you something that happened. The people heard it.
Miller Harris is trying.
Trying
No,
to stir the
there's-
pot on me.
There's no ill will between us and the lounge. People can pick that apart all they want.
No,
That's not why we left.
We have a year and a half worth of catalog still sitting on the lounge, guys. We're not here to down the Impact Lounge at all. We had to move out of the house. We had to leave. We had to leave home. That's all.
To prove
Jesus.
ourselves.
You know, I wonder how many of those folks got mad at us. You know, for leaving
Yeah, I
the
wonder
lounge.
if there's anybody like still clicking on the lounge that doesn't know that we left. Like, where are they? Where's Trent?
The counts, you know, weren't as drastically different, but there's a portion of people who didn't move over here yet. So maybe they'll take them a while to figure
They'll
it out.
find us, Trent. They'll find
They'll
us.
find us eventually.
Yeah. But no, bottom line, through that entire list that Jaybone attempted to read through, even though we hit him with tangents on all angles. Bottom line, who would you like to see
Damn
come back
kids.
to Impact Wrestling?
Yeah,
I'm going to start with
sound off.
myself, and I'm going to pass it around here. Pass
There
it
you go.
around like the
That's
Dutchie. I would like to see Eric Young come back and lead Team Canada. Well, not lead Team Canada. You got to leave that to Scott D'Amore. But I'd like to see Eric Young come back. And I think of Eric Young, which side of him I would like to see come back. I liked him right before he left when he was with Bram, when he was spitting on the fans. When he ripped Sergeant Melendez's leg off, I liked that Eric Young.
Psychopath Eric
I don't
Young,
like
man.
goofy Eric Young. I like that Eric Young.
Yeah, when he was intense, man. Post title run.
He did
Eric
the best work of his career, I feel, at the very end of Impact. It was too
Yeah.
short. It was too brief. So I would like him to come back. EC3, no brainer. It's EC3. Come on.
I got to spend a minute on the EC3 one. There's nobody else who helped keep those years that he was there together.
But there are no more Carters in Impact, Trent. Keep that in mind.
There's no
Character.
So
doesn't-
what?
Yeah, I guess so.
The guy is one of the most bona fide stars to be developed.
Dude, I love him. I mean, come on.
So good. So good.
I'm just
He's
saying.
So good. I have an autographed photo of EC3 that my ex got me for my birthday. And it says, to Trent, happy birthday, you piece of shit.
Piece of shit.
He said, get a fucking haircut, you hippie. And he signs love EC3. So when I went down to Slammiversary 2016, I met him and I was like, hey man, you remember signing an autograph for a guy, tell him to cut his hair? He goes, you're Trent. So like we hit it off ever since then. Would see each other a bunch here and there at Impact shows and whatnot. And I like the guy, man. But aside from that, I was a huge EC3 mark leading up to that. Like the guy is fantastic. And imagine him in this Impact environment, in current day Impact. Can you see that? Think about that.
Oh
It
yeah.
was unbelievable what he could do.
Now, I
That
don't
new
see-
look and everything now too. Forget
People keep mentioning the Revival. I don't see them coming into Impact. I feel like they've been building up their own feud with the Bucks for quite some time.
It's been going on for years.
I don't see them coming into Impact. But when I was listening to the list, Jaybone was giving us Gallows and Anderson. That is a tag team I think could really bring something to Impact.
We got a lot of tag teams though. We got a lot that need to get their own runs right now. Do we really muddy it up with? Not that they're not
They're an
good.
established tag team, though. They're already
They
well
are.
established.
They are. I'm like, man, you bring them in. Do they take away from the Fallahs and TJs? They take away from the Deaners and they see. You know what I mean? What do you got?
I got a point for that to say. Bring it in. Gallows and Anderson. We got enough tag teams. What have we been talking about? Someone from another tag team, a couple people from another tag team that need breakout years individually.
Good point.
Rohit Raju, boom, X Division star. Shira, boom, big monster. cousin
Jake.
Jake.
Yeah.
Boom. You know, I love the Deaners, but it shakes things up. Influx a few new tag teams. You know, there's options.
That's not a bad idea. Because you get rid of a couple, you break a few teams apart, and then you replenish it.
It's not like breaking up like the Dudleys or something. You know, it's
Good point, man. I like it. I like it.
So yeah, Chris Hero, that's another name I would like to see come in, and I'd like to hear from Jaybone, and then pass it over to Trent. Who would you like to see come into Impact off of this list?
All right, so I know a lot of people think that Kurt Angle would be a good one. Kurt, if you listen to Chris Van Vliet's interview recently with Kurt's miserable. Okay,
Like health wise?
Yeah.
Oh, really? The neck and stuff?
Pain, yeah, his injuries are really getting to him. Long-term stuff. He's not in a good place right now. I fear for him. Maybe going back and being an agent / producer would be good for him. In waves, like not like every single tour, like a couple throughout the year to bring in, cut a promo on someone, be a face in the background. Nothing physical. He can't do that no more. He's done with that.
I'm just thinking the company, that's a very expensive contract. What's he really going to bring at this stage in the game, Well,
yeah. I mean, it would be
he did his thing in Impact. He had his farewell tour, left his legacy. He came back for a little what was it? Authority figure roles.
Yeah.
I mean, we closed the chapter well with him. I don't feel like we need to fit. Kurt went out perfectly. He went out putting people over. I mean, an amazing 10-year run at Impact. I mean, fantastic. We're not missing anything from Kurt. That's the thing. I don't want to stress. He left on the most perfect way you could.
Oh yeah. So I think let's bring it up.
Now, if you want to bring him in for one match and have an ankle lock match against Ken Shamrock, might not be opposed to that.
All time's sake.
All time's sake.
Yeah, I don't think he's up for that, but on paper, yeah, that's a great idea. Would you bring in the Bennetts? Maria and Michael.
Miracle Maria. I don't know.
She's about to have a baby, so no, she wouldn't be in the picture anytime soon. Maybe Mike. Maybe Mike.
I don't see him anywhere.
No,
I don't see it. I feel like Mike. I don't know. I feel like Mike. We ended that one too. What's lacking? What was lacking from that? I don't feel like anything lacked out of that.
So, good story about Mike and Maria, real quick. 2016, me and my buddy Cody are at the Bethlehem tapings. It's the first night on Pop TV. It's the debut episode. Keep in mind, the Miracle made his grand debut that night. Nobody knew he was coming.
Mm-hmm.
When we were going from our hotel room upstairs to the event hall downstairs, guess who we shared the elevator with?
Who?
Mike and Maria.
Oh, how was it? You guys
wasn't announced that they were going to be there. I mean, what kind of spoiler is that? Catch them in the elevator.
This is afterwards, huh?
Yeah.
Well,
good to see.
Were you guys like, what are they doing here? Maybe they're here seeing friends.
It was one of those moments where just like, hey, we're not weirdos. We're not going to go to the internet with this. Keep it to ourselves. They were there. They were there. But I don't see them right now. I don't really see a spot for them. But if they did come, I wouldn't be mad.
I wouldn't be mad, but I'm also thinking but that could be a spot that could go to somebody else, somebody fresh, somebody new.
But follow the story of Mike Bennett. The guy is very open about his drug use. If you look at the timeline, during his Impact run is when he was fucked up. And then he got clean. So maybe like a clean slate. Maybe go back there with this new chip on his shoulder, this new fresh drive.
I mean, he gave AC3 his first loss, got the X Division belt. He had a nice little run. It wasn't a bad run.
I look at it this way. All these people in one way or another have some kind of chip on their shoulder right now.
Right now, especially, yeah.
Whether they're,
look at EC3's promo. Passion.
Oh, if you have not seen EC3 his promo from Twitter from 24 hours ago. Please,
Fantastic.
read. There's a bunch of posts that are all written from him, and then there is a video.
He changed his look completely too. Crazy.
Different, very different. He's got the goatee, shaved his head a little bit. But the stuff he was saying in the promo, he's talking a lot about social media. Thought about ICU a bit. Not gonna lie.
It had a little touch. Remember, he's from Ohio too. Let's not forget that.
He's also an Ohio brethren.
He is.
Wait, now are you saying it sounded like I know I like the promo, but I don't remember. Excuse me, specifically. I know there was some social media stuff in there.
Go back and watch it again, and kind of think about ICU when you watch the promo. Like, this is me just speculating. I don't think there is a connection.
Are you saying pro ICU, as in he would be with Sammy?
He would be with Sammy because he's questioning social media and people's daily lives.
Interesting.
Social media.
I got you. All right, here's an interesting name. I know he's been, a comedy player for several years in WWE, but what if you give him a fresh start? Someone like Heath Slater. What do you guys think?
He had a small little nub of a run in Impact. He was a former tag team champion, randomly the most random TNA tag team champion. Do you remember that? That's Kyle. You got to remember that. This is during the GFW invasion. Remember?
Yeah. Well,
nah,
I don't want to see it because I feel like it's important for Impact to get away from the reputation of
Kurt Hawkins. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hawkins.
Who the hell is Heath Slater?
Heath Slater. You just got me thinking Heath Slater.
3-man band.
So who got released? Kurt Hawkins.
Kurt Hawkins from the GFW stuff with Trevor Lee. He did have that quick cup of coffee.
I am so detached from that company. I don't even know who's what. I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. Okay, here's a good name that I think would be good. Honestly, anywhere. I like the guy. I know he's had a bad rep here and there. Some controversial stuff talked about him, but I feel like he would be tremendous in the X division.
Okay.
Leo Rush.
What's his deal? Attitude problems, right? That's all I've heard. That's what I heard from him. I don't want attitude problems in Impact. Don't bring it here. If you got him, don't bring him here. I don't know.
Well,
I'm going off what I've heard.
Leave that shit at home.
I was going to ask you because you deal with a lot of indie stuff. Has he ever come through AAW?
One time.
Okay.
Early days when I was working there. Didn't really do like he wasn't really too friendly or anything. It wasn't overly like social, but you're talking 4 years ago, I want to say. Like it wasn't much. I was also pretty new in the company at the time. But I think it was one appearance only. I was
just curious, because I know he's been all over the indies, CZW, everywhere.
Nothing special.
Primo and Primo and Epico.
I don't know. Again, tag teams. If you're going to do a tag team out of this batch, go with Carl Anderson and Gallows. Go with them. If you're going to do a tag team.
Because Carl Anderson already put a thing out for Tokyo, Japan. Like he's all ready to go overseas. When the plane's ready.
I bet. Well, I mean, they got such ties there as well, right?
They do. They do. They were there. He was Machine Gun Carl Anderson,
and I believe his wife is Japanese too. Yeah. So I think I don't know if she's from Japan or what.
His hot Japanese wife he always talks about.
Does he talk about her? I knew she was. Oh
my god! Whenever he talks about his wife, it's always his hot Japanese wife, and it's like
that's hilarious. But yeah, if you're gonna do a tag team, don't forget the Colognes. Give me the other two. I'd rather get a monster tag team like them.
Here's speaking of monsters, I'm going to throw one more at you. There's a couple more names on here, but I don't want to go through absolutely everything. And Rowan, the monster Rowan.
I don't know much about him. I couldn't say. What do you think, Kyle? I really don't know.
I don't really see a need for him, and it would probably make more sense for him to go into AEW where he could follow Brody Lee. So they work together in WWE closely. I mean,
they were part of that thing. Okay.
Yeah, I don't see a place for him, but I have faith and trust in Impact's creative, so I really can't say no to anybody they bring in.
Yeah, exactly.
But they would have a plan for them.
The one guy, though, Rusev got released, right? He got
Yeah.
released too?
Rusev.
Oh yeah, I didn't bring up Rusev.
Lana
that
did not get
guy.
released, just Rusev. So his wife is still working for the company.
Interesting.
Yeah, awkwardly enough. Yeah, but we see that all over the industry.
Yeah,
you
it
know, this
happens.
guy's working here, his wife's working over there. You know,
Rusev
Ty
is
is an Impact, Johnny Mundo's and whatever.
yeah.
Slam Town.
Rusev would be great for Impact. I think he could be a guy where you can get some good matches. I mean, imagine you get our heavyweights against him. Would be very fun to watch. That would be interesting.
Would you keep him the same though? Like, would you present him same kind of character, the Bulgarian brute?
I give him. He's apparently the little retweets I see and things like that show up in my feed. He's a pretty charming, funny guy. I'd rather see some of the character out of him like that. Like he's a pretty personable guy. I felt they dried him out over there with that.
Yeah, because I mean, the character is kind of typecasted. You know, it's like, oh, he's the foreign monster. Impact is always a little more creative than that.
How about Rusev versus Michael Elgin?
Exactly. First thought I had.
Perfect.
Think of boom. Give me Rusev and Elgin. Just two monsters. I can just see Elgin building that kind of match with him. You know, build, and just start clubbing the shit out of each other. It would be great.
Let's start closing things up here.
Yeah.
Get some final words in here from the listeners.
What do you guys got to say?
You guys.
There you go. Hakeem Fortune just said it too at the same time. Rusev and Elgin. See, they're thinking like us. They're thinking like us here, guys. No, very nice. I think this was nice. I like doing the explosion and convo talk, kind of the shoot around convo.
More freelanced, a little more fun, more freedom.
No doubt. Whoopsie's on Twitch. Hey, Whoopsie's here. Oh, Long Island buddy. Look, Whoopsie, the mayor of Long Island, right there.
If anybody's new here, I'm going to throw this on. I'm going to do this consistently as we're trying to grow the brand on a bunch of different medias. If you watch the Impact Wrestling on Twitch, as many do, I know Trent does, and we simulcast all over the place now. We're not just here on YouTube. We're on the Facebook. We're on the Twitter through Periscope and on the Twitch channel. We're trying to grow that, get the numbers up. So there's a thing for the future. You can, watch your Impact Wrestling on Twitch and then head right over afterwards for our review. Give it a follow.
Give us a follow. TNI show on Twitch.
Yes, thank you. TNI show.
We Talk Impact, all one word, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So definitely get a hold of it. If you haven't seen this week's review, we released that Tuesday night, 2 days ago. We had a couple special guests. Lino, our newest member of our digital team, is on there, as well as CP over from PW Surge made a guest appearance real quick. Definitely go check out this week's show. This week's throwback was up too, episode 20 of NWA TNA. We'll be back Monday night with 21. And like I said, follow the show on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Spotify. You name it, it's on it. Take it on the go with you. If you can't watch video, take your audio up with you on the run. What do you got, Jay?
All right, so Kevin Martin says, I'm excited for passionate fans like you to see Rebellion. Are we going to do any predictions for night one for Rebellion anytime this weekend?
I'm really more excited to do the results. I think we should do a 2-part results, like Rebellion's 2 parts. I think we should go with that. I don't know. I'm not the final say. Kyle, what do you think? Actually, let listeners tell us. Would you guys want predictions?
Who cares what I think? Who cares what you think? Who cares what Jay?
What do you guys want to hear, man?
Do
you guys want predictions, or would you want just a great wrap-up show after the show goes off the air?
If it's on Twitch
versus Moose, oh my God!
If it's on Twitch, we can do a watch-along party. If it's on Twitch, but if it's not on Twitch and it's exclusive to Access, probably not going to do that. But we'll figure it out when we get closer.
We got to figure that out. We'll see. So let us know, guys. If you guys want us to do predictions, let us know. We'll take a vote. Doesn't have to be decided right now. We're going to look at the comments on all the mediums over the next 2 days, 2-3 days, and we'll just make a decision by Saturday. Let's see what's going on. Saturday, Sunday. We'll see what's going on. Let's see here. But what she was saying was just a formality, but got the official email today that Nashville TV May 8th and 9th canceled. Never really was promoted due to COVID. Yeah, this was the original taping that was announced for Music City Showdown. Remember that? That was supposed to be a taping.
Real briefly, it was put out there right as things started going downhill. Yeah.
So that's just that Bill saying, guys, it's a formality that had to go out. But we have our TV in the can. As we know, we're going all the way through June, I believe. So
for several weeks. I apologize. We didn't bring you. There's not a ton of knockouts that have been released. Not like we want a ton of women from WWE. Excuse me, from the women's division. There's only been a few listed. Madison Rain, Sarah Logan, and Deanna. One thing that I had brought up recently is Havoc, because she's had some success in her comeback to Impact Wrestling, but she hasn't gotten the Knockouts Championship. And I'm thinking for something fresh for her, she could bring in a couple fresh faces and kind of not manage them, but she'd be like the leader of like a new women's stable, something. And I think Sarah Logan and Deanna Prazo would be wow. That would be historical right there. What do you guys think?
Interesting. I know very little about. I know more Deanna than I do Sarah Logan. I couldn't tell you. Yeah. But real quick, Kevin did confirm it'll be simulcast and accessed in Twitch.
Okay, so there we go.
He wants predictions.
Party.
We got guys. I'm looking at the votes here. I'm seeing predictions. Jay, you might get your damn wish after all.
So if we get a decent card announced,
and a good wrap up show. You know, this is Kevin getting us back for us asking for so much out of Xplosion.
That's our receipt, Trent. That's
definitely the receipt. Okay, fair enough. All right, we'll hop on the weekend.
We'll do a prediction show, and we'll do a watch along party on Twitch both nights, because we can do that.
We got to figure that out. Can we not do a watch along party? We got to do that then. We got to really make that happen.
We can.
All right.
Stream the Twitch.
All right, deal.
I'll bring the popcorn.
All right, deal. Sounds good. All right. That's going to do it for us, guys. Follow us on We Talk Impact on all the major social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Type in We Talk Impact. There is so much content floating around on our stuff. Like we got this now, the wrap-up show, Impact Plus Weekly. We got the weekly Impact Wrestling recap show. We have the TNA Throwback Show on Monday nights. We have Impacted with Bison and Joker. This week's episode was The North. Ethan Page and Josh Alexander. They personally endorsed that one.
Jaybone? By them themselves. Co-signed.
Yeah, they co-signed it. So that was pretty cool. Ethan was watching it. It was very nice. A lot of positive feedback. I want to thank all the fans and listeners. You guys are wonderful. Especially, I also want to thank the Impact crew. A lot of the crew, a lot of the talent have been reaching out to us. Telling us they've been watching, listening. We really appreciate that. It's very encouraging for us to get that. You know, our goal is
wrestling podcasts don't get that, Trent. That is the highest honor,
and we appreciate it. I think we approach the company with a very good positivity, and we're not. Johnny Bravo told me himself, guys. I'm gonna keep repeating this. He said, "I love that you guys don't sugarcoat everything and just say, oh, everything's great because you're fans of the product. You call our ass out when we need to be called out." These are exact words, and that's
we are the fans. We are. What's more relatable than real fans?
Absolutely, and we love the company. We're here for it. We love being a part of bringing a review with a credible voice to you guys. So I'm glad we can do that. And I'm still convinced Josh Matthews listens, even though he'll never sell it every time I ask him about it.
You notice every episode they say the word scumbag more and more.
Never use scumbag.
I keep hearing scumbag over and over, and it's like
the two giveaways, Kyle.
Something makes me think.
The two giveaways that Josh was listening. This is early on. We already knew. We've been talking about this for a while. But when they never used scumbag, until we were calling you a scumbag, and we did our scumbag of the week segment. Taya was scumbag of the week, and all of a sudden on Impact Wrestling,
a lot of scum
start showing up. And then I started correcting the pronunciation of the word Daisy, not Desi, not DC. I said it's Daisy. I said, why can't one of the guys tell him it's Daisy Hit Squad? I said, Josh Matthews, it's Daisy Hit Squad. The next fucking week, Kyle. The next set of tapings, I should say. Next set of tapings, it was Daisy Hit Squad. I said, you know what? Don't tell me, Matthews, you're not listening to this show. Don't you dare tell me that you're not tuned in every week.
So either they are listening or we have a mole around here. I'm looking at you, William Gardner. You're always in the front row.
If anyone
can afford that many tickets, who?
Hey, I even learned a year ago when I joined the crew.
He did. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. We're all quarantined. We're glad to be doing this. This is great to bring all this content out while we're here. We're making the best of it. What's going to come when life goes back to normal, quote unquote, we'll find out. But in the meantime, let's just keep pumping this out. We went premium, guys. We got all these quadcasts going on. Quadcasting, podcast feeds, you name it. We're on everything.
So, like herpes.
Yeah, absolutely. Rate, review, subscribe, guys. Give us your rating. Give us your feedback. Want to hear what you think of the show. Definitely leave comments on all the mediums you can. Let us know what you think. But that's
Bring back Team Canada.
Bring back Team Canada, guys. Hashtag Bring Back Team Canada, guys.
Hashtag right now, Bring Back Team Canada.
Do it. And tag all the Canadians in it back. All right, guys. Anything else? I forget anything?
That's it.
That's it. Thank you guys for watching. Actually, go, Kyle, this is your deal. You do the close. I always got to do the close. You do the close on this one.
Thank you all for watching, listening, whether you're listening to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, whether you're watching us on YouTube. It's a podcast for your eyeballs and your ears at the same time. We appreciate you. And also, a thank you to the Impact crew themselves in these COVID-19 times for keeping us entertained and giving us topics to talk about. So thank you, everybody. Stay safe. Use your hand sanitizer. Wear your mask. Kyle, Trent, and Jaybone will be here for you again next week.
There you go. We'll see. Well, Rebellion predictions. We'll figure out when to do it. Keep tuned to We Talk Impact on social media. We will let you know when we're going to go live on that one. So keep an eye. You guys voted the overwhelming predictions vote here, guys. But I'm still going to count tomorrow. We're going to see what else is tomorrow. Awesome. Anything else?
Okay.
Thank you for first timers joining us tonight too.
Impact Talk for Impact fans. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
See you, everybody. Good night.
Later.
Let's make some noise!